In this video, I'm going to be trying to make as much money as I can today day trading. I'm going to take you inside my entire day trading process. I'm going to show you the indicators, strategies, and approach that I'm going to be following for the day. I'm going to do a lot less editing and just show you the real profits, losses, and decision making that I'm doing in real time. And this is also me kind of showing you inside what we're focusing on the private side of our trading team. Okay, also sometimes having bigger single day gains than me, and I've been day trading for 8 years. So I'm going to take you inside my entire process, document it for the day. So you'll basically be able to take a lot of the stuff that you learn here and start applying it to your own trading, and at the very least see if we can hit over our $4,000 daily goal. So if everything goes to plan, I think with some modifications I should be able to actually get over that goal. Okay, so it's about 9:30 right now. I'm going to let the market sort of pick a general direction, then we're going to set everything up. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do, and we're going to get into our first trade. All right, so it's about 9:30 right now. I'm setting up for the first part of the session. Every time I'm getting started with my trading process, first thing I'm going to do is open up all of my tools. So you'll see on my screen, I have my charting on the left here. I have my exchange where I'm actually taking all of my trades here on the right, as well as my daily trade plan and where I'm going to be inputting all of my trade information and journaling my trades. Okay, on the left-hand side here, I have a macro view of the market so I can look at what's going on in general and get an idea of the news and also just the bigger picture on the market. And something helpful that I'm always using is this daily trade plan that I built on Notion. If you guys want access to this, follow me on Instagram, DM me the word tools, and you can have this sent over to you. But what this allows me to do is basically open up a pre-session checklist where I can go through all of my steps and follow them for the day. So I can remove a lot of the thought process and make sure that I'm being consistent with my habits and my awareness each session, so I can make sure that I'm doing everything properly. So first thing that I'm going to do right out of the gate is check for important news events. Okay, so today I'm going to be trading cryptocurrency. So I'm looking at a Bitcoin chart on a daily time frame to look at a bigger picture. I also want to go into my calendar section here on TradingView and look for high impact news. So I'm toggling this on, seeing if anything that's going to move the markets like crazy that we can at least anticipate. Okay, so today's Wednesday. We have some inflation data coming out of England. Other than that, not really too much that's going to impact the US markets that hasn't already happened. So we're going to play into the volatility, but it should be pretty smooth sailing for today. So that's checked off. The next thing I'm doing is finding a daily bias and doing some daily analysis. So like I said, we're on a daily chart of Bitcoin here. If we scroll out, we've been moving up for some time here off of this level, starting to slow down, and you'll notice we have this one candle here, which is known as a reversal candle into what's called a fair value gap, which I'm going to explain as we get further into the trading session. It'll start to make more sense. On a technical front from the Discord, our head analyst John has put out a bullish daily bias, and this is also accessible free for you guys in the Discord, which is in the description of the video as well. He puts these out each day. All right, so off of candle analysis, we're expected for this candle's high to be taken. On a purely technical analysis standpoint, we could flip bullish, but what I'm looking for is potentially some sort of negative response after this move up. So I wouldn't be super surprised for momentum to start to shift to the downside for the session, in which case I can actually make money from the market going down too, which is something that's a unique opportunity, knowing how to trade rather than just getting into crypto and not having any other way of making money other than when things go up. That doesn't mean I'm not going to take any sort of longs where I try to take a buy position. So here I've already had my tools set up, and the next thing I'm doing is checking for any sort of alerts and adding things to my watch list. So I can open up my watch list over here. When I'm trading the strategy that I'm going to be trading today, I'm basically only trading a few coins. Solana is going to be the main one that I like to trade, and then ETH and Atom are also ones that I'm going to be considering, but I move them into this system checklist with these green flags so that I can specifically monitor these cryptos and then find specific trade opportunities on these. Okay, so I don't really need to do too much with that, and my pre-session checklist is over. That's going to take me to my trading session checklist, which is going to give me my rules for my trading session. Okay, but just so that you understand the general idea of what I'm going to be doing for this session, what I'm looking for are trends that are either moving up or down. They give me a sell or a buy signal. I'm going to be looking at a bunch of other confluences that I can't share 100% with you guys to keep it fair to the private side of our trading team. What I'm looking for is basically entries in the midpoint of these fair value gaps, which are these green or red parts on my chart, which historically are really good areas to sort of buy or sell into the market to be able to let these trades come to fruition. I'm going to show you how I'm making these decisions in real time. I'm not sure what's going to happen for the session, but our goal obviously is to get to that over $10,000 mark. So I really am looking for big swings up or down and then reversal signals so I can play into flips in momentum in the market. All right, so that's going to really start with me to just going to all my main pairs and looking for these signals here and then areas. And you can see the midpoint of this one has already been filled and it's starting to move up now. So I was sort of talking through potentially the first opportunity, but markets are also a little bit volatile right now. So I kind of want to wait wait for the session to develop a little bit more anyways. Okay, but now I really want to get a grasp of maybe some of the overall analysis on the individual pair that I'm looking to trade. So this dotted line is showing me where the New York stock market opens. Usually that has increased volatility, which you can see definitely happened today, just because all the traditional markets start trading more, there's more activity, and then we get to see how any news is sort of impacting the global markets and the sentiment. What I'm looking at is that this downtrend was broken to the upside here, and this is opening up an interesting buy opportunity on a potential retest down here. So this is how I'm going to start setting up some of my positions. This is something that you can follow along and tools that you can use as well. Okay, so like I said, we missed that entry, but if price wants to come down, we'll still take a position. So in order to keep consistent with the sizing and everything, I can click on my indicators here. I can go to my IT position calculator, which I share with you guys on YouTube. You can see I'm glad that 21,000 of you guys like using it, but this is an on chart tool, which is going to allow us to position size properly. Okay, so you'll see now I can click on where I want to enter, where I want to take profit, which is going to change, and then where my stop loss is going to be placed and how much money I want to risk. Like I said in this video, I'm going to be risking $500. So I can click on that, and that's going to show me how much I need to enter at my designated order to risk $500, so that we also have calculations for the upside. Okay, so this trade may or may not fill. I'm setting up a fishing order, so I'm hoping that it comes down and can provide opportunities. Otherwise, now you know how the systems are set up. If this trade misses, we'll look for another opportunity. Now it's just a waiting game, being patient, letting the trades come to us for the session. Okay, so prices come down and touched our key area here and just sort of started to flip up here. Okay, so we're in our first position. We're up about $200 right now. This can change very, very quickly. There's a lot of volatility in the market, so I'm hoping that we get a quick flip to the upside. Otherwise, this is going to come right down. We're going to keep our risk contained. We're going to find another trade. Okay, but we are long here. Let's see what happens. All right, so we got a lot of sell side into this area. So this came right through my area and stopped us out for a full loss really quickly. This is a really volatile opening out of this 930 slot, but you can see price could continue moving way further down now. So it's really important to have our stop loss. Okay, it's obviously not fun to lose money, but a mistake that a lot of people make in trading is they just hold losses like this, and you can wipe yourself out really quickly. Okay, so contained loss on trade number one. So what I'm doing now is putting in my trade information in my journal. Okay, this was a $676 loss. A confidence, I'm going to say, was a 2. I like to keep track of my confidence score just so that I can look back and see whether my trade conviction is on par or not. Okay, but we're starting the day down $676. We're getting some momentum to the downside here, which we kind of expected on our daily bias. We were trying to take some longs in case we were wrong. So market's really starting to sell off now. So all I'm doing is putting a screenshot of my previous trade into our trade journal so I can keep track of it. Now I have my whole trade log. We're starting down 676 for the session. Let's play into some momentum here and try to find trade number 2. Okay, so after we got stopped out of our position, we've had a massive move to the downside on Sol. So it's good that we were able to contain our loss small and get out. What's good about this and what's interesting is every time we see these massive sell-offs in the market, there's always these big rebounds. So what I'm going to try to do is look for a trade opportunity to play into a potential bounce. If we see an indication of some bullish momentum, this could be a good opportunity to be able to play at least a temporary rebound to the upside in case the market does switch. All right, so looking at our Sol chart here, we've had price sort of sell off for this whole entire session. We're coming down into this fair value gap. We just tapped into our entry. We're currently in a position here. What I'm hoping is that this low won't break and then we'll get a flip and eventually get a continuation for the rest of the session up off of this key level. All right, so we're in trade number 2 on Sol. Let's see how this plays out and if we can get our flip. All right, so we've reacted off of this fair value gap and validated it twice, which is a slightly bullish sign. Obviously, we still need to see if this is actually going to make a move, but the key level I'm watching is for this area to be broken. If we can break that level, it looks like we could get a bullish break for the rest of the session and get a nice move out of this. But it is a good sign that we reacted off of that level. We're up about 600 right now. Let's see where the trade goes. Okay, so looking at this Sol trade, we did start to get a move up. We're starting to come close down to our stop loss, producing a new low on this trend. Looks like market is sort of just settling off. So if we don't get a bounce off of here and this comes below this low, I'm going to get out for another loss, but it's going to suck to have 2 losses to start the day. But this is the reality kind of trading. I want to show you guys transparently the struggles and the reality of actually doing this, not just all the time gains. Something to remember is that you will go on losing streaks. You will have trades that are going to lose. It's about making making sure that you're following your strategy and not forcing trades, and just making sure that you stick with the process. So whatever happens to this trade happens. We're going to carry on with the session regardless, but it does not look great right now. Hopefully we do get a break out of this downward price movement and start making a move up. Right here, we're at a point where this is either going to break down and really continue moving down, or it's going to have a big push up and break out of this pattern. So price typically leading down into a wedge like this is going to continue moving to the downside. But if this doesn't, like I said, if this breaks out through the top, this is going to have a really, really big move to the upside. So obviously that's what we're hoping for, but still holding out, waiting for this trade to fully wrap up. Okay, so price is starting to actually move in our direction on this trade. So all I'm going to do during this situation is take this recent high. I'm going to add a notification alert there, as well as a notification alert for the stop loss level. And now basically once I hear an alert, I can update the trade, whether I'm reducing risk or whether I need to close the trade out and fully input the data and start looking for other opportunities. Now I don't have to sit here and stare at my trade. I can get other work done, but hopefully we start to see a move up in this session. Okay, so looking at this Sol trade, we did get another indication for some bearish price action. If we don't get a response off of this level and get a bounce here, I'm going to take this trade off the table for break even. We're kind of just chopping sideways now. This isn't really how I like to trade. I like to be deliberate with my direction. So we're going to see how this candle responds here. Taking this trade off the table here. Okay, this broke underneath this level. We're reattempting entry. Been sitting in this trade for like 2 hours. This is not necessarily what we want to have. So I was able to lock in 131 on this trade. So I'm going to consider it a win, but it's definitely a small win. We do have a potential short position here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and track this information. All right, so we have everything saved. A little bit disappointing, but that's the name of the game. I'm going to go ahead and look for trade number 3. So I went ahead and flipped my bias here on this sort of trade idea. We did get a sell signal where we were long before, but we got a change of character, which is something that I'm looking for, and we got a sell signal here, so indication that we could be moving in the down direction. So price came up to hit into these levels once getting rejected off of this high. So if we are to get some resistance off of here and then eventually trade below these lows for the session, this is going to produce a really, really nice move for us. Now my goal is to be able to trail this for the rest of the session, so I'm not necessarily going to take profit at this level. I'll probably just let this continue to run, and if this is going to trade way down, I'll trail it. But either way, nice initial take profit. So I'm looking for this key level here to be touched so that I can go ahead and reduce my risk down to 0. Otherwise, you know, we're going to see what happens if we get stopped out. Price continues to move up, or if this wants to move in our direction and give us a nice juicy trade. Hopefully that's the case, but trade number 3, let's see what happens. Okay, so we're starting to break underneath this neckline here. All I need is a candle close below this level, and I'm going to reduce risk into profit. So hopefully we can get that right here. Just need price to push a little bit. We got 19 seconds left. Let's see. Also, I have my Whoop plugged in because I forgot to charge it, and I'm a nut, so I'm roped in right now. And it looks like we won't get a risk reduction here on this candle close. All right, so right now we're getting price action to break underneath a new low here, and we have a candle close, which means I am going to be reducing my risk basically to break even, but I'm going to put it a little bit inside. So now if this does want to clear and break underneath this level, which I'm hoping we do, and break a little bit lower. All right, now we're risking essentially no money. So if it breaks underneath this low, we'll be able to take a good trade. Otherwise, we're going to stop out and basically be for break even. Okay, but just to sort of show you, that's a really good move off of that initial zone. Hopefully we can get this to continue moving. All right, so a little frustrating. I forgot to remove my take profit that I was just using as a placeholder here at 138. So I would actually be holding this trade still, but we were able to make plus 2,596. So I was able to make 5.55 what I was risking on that trade by catching that move. So once again, risking the 500 was able to make nearly $2,600. So I'm going to go ahead and journal that in. Sad part, like I said, I would still be holding this, and there's a chance that this continues to trail down and we could maybe double or triple that position, but we'll see. Okay, so after that sort of premature win, we're up over 2,000 again on the day, 2,051 with 3 trades, 66% win rate on the day. I'm going to be really bummed out if this continues to sell off for the session. Okay, but we're heating up. Let's see if we can get, another 10, 15 R on the day. See if we can hit that $10,000 goal. All right, so there is a long position here on Sol. A little bit weird of a position. I was looking to originally target this fair value gap on a retest here, but price ended up moving a lot lower faster. So this rejection wick is indicating to me that we could have a lot of orders that were sitting underneath this level. So now that we get get this big push up, right? I'm positioning off of a $500 risk still. So if we are to get a flip, this is going to be a really big quick flip. I entered a little bit lower in general. If we're going to break another low here, I will get out of the position for a $500 loss. Otherwise, we should be able to get a really nice flip here, in which case I'm in pretty deep on Sol. So I'm sort of just watching this manually right now. Okay, so next level I want to hit is going to be this one, so I can reduce risk down to 0. Okay, so letting this trade currently run right now, kind of not looking so great, but I'm just gonna let it breathe. Hopefully we can get an all-day runner here, but trying to keep it healthy, getting a nice sandwich going. Kind of a sad, gloomy day out. In brighter news, we got Subsquid up 4x. Something that I like to remember is that a lot of the best opportunities in crypto, actually most of all of them for investing wise, are gonna come when the market's not hot at all. So shout out to you guys that were following along with that investment analysis, right? You're gonna have winners and losers, but if this one works out and it's 50x from where we call it, then it sort of makes all those other smaller positions justified. So waiting for this trade to kind of come to fruition, watching that, eating lunch. I'm gonna hit the gym. I'm hoping to be able to wrap up my trading session, like not trade into the evening tonight. I got other work to do. So I'm gonna try to hit it and quit it hard. I'm gonna go to the gym early, get everything done, and have a really effective session, but I still wanna be able to hit close to that $10,000 mark. I'm not gonna force anything. I'm gonna let the trades come to fruition and naturally, right? It's so tempting when I'm shooting these videos to wanna force trades, but I'm being patient. I'm letting them run, except for the first one accidentally closing it out, but gonna let this trade run and we will see what happens after the gym. All right, so sadly, I am closing this Sol long out for break even, and I don't want to allow it to come down and start testing the overside of this trend, because this is going to go through my stop loss and break under another low. So it looks like markets could continue trending down for the day. So I'm going to let the markets breathe for a second, get some work done, finish lunch, and try to find trade opportunity number 5 actually now. All right, I'm just going to do a run, nothing crazy. Back from the gym, checking the charts. I'm still letting the market sort of even out a little bit. So I'm gonna go grab some dinner, and then we're going to look for a trade, I think number 5. See if we can get a few more big ones on the day. What's wrong with spinning?
I don't know, it's stressing me out.
Okay, so looking at the overall market, we have had this level and this level sort of bounce. Now we need to figure out whether we're going to break up over this trend or if we're going to break lower down into this trend. I'm gonna go ahead and eat dinner, and then this should be able to, by that time, pick a direction, in which case we're going to then trade in that direction. But for now, this is sort of just sideways chop. It's not really anything definitively giving me any sort of signal in either direction. So once again, need to see one of these key levels broken, and then we should be able to have another trade opportunity. Okay, so Sol is starting to make a push up and contact the under part of this trend. So I went ahead and took a short position here, a little bit through this fair value gap after this change of character in our sell signal here. So I'm hoping that we do get a flip off of this key level and reverse down. I'm just going to set an alert here under this level so that I'll know if and when this happens. And then this looks like a really good opportunity for trade number 5. So hopefully we get a response off this level, and we'll see how the trade comes out. We just got a response off of the underside of this adjusted trend here. So hopefully still get the push down. So I have my alert set. Now I'm gonna sort of let this trade play out, walk away from the screens, and let this do its thing. Alright, so it is morning time now. Last night, unfortunately, I did take a loss on the trade that I entered, and then there was really no good trades, and I wasn't going to sit up all night trading. So I'm going to hit one more trade this morning here. If I don't find anything or I lose, it'll basically be considered a break even to small profit day, which is sometimes the reality of trading. But if we're able to hit a nice trade, we should be able to end this segment of trading with a little bit more profit. So it's about 9:30 right now. We're going to see if we can find a setup. Okay, so found an opportunity here on ETH right at this midpoint of this fair value gap. Market's starting to trend down pretty much for the entire session here. So underneath this break here, I'm hoping that we get a flip in price action to break underneath this local low here and a continuation on this move for the rest of the day. Okay, so we just entered this position. Let's see if we can get a flip. All right, so we did get a reaction off of this underside of this trend here. I moved my stop loss a little bit so that we could get that bounce off of that trend level. And now we're starting to make a move down underneath this low, which is really the area that we're looking to really focus on a lot. So price is going to come down, hopefully break clean through this and continue trading down for the day. We're up about a risk factor right now, close to 2 here. So right around $900. Hoping for a nice run around this ETH short here to finish out this session. All right, so what I'm going to do on this trade here is move my stop loss above this high here, or close the trade out if it breaks over this high. I really want to get some resistance off of here and then break lower. So if this wants to push up, I'll take a smaller win. If this wants to crack down, then I'll let the trade continue to run to the downside. But we have a really nice like 2.5 risk factors on the table. We're up around 2,000 right now. I would love to let this trade run, but I'm not going to sit here in this trade all day. So I'm just sort of watching this manually now. So this red line is now my stop loss. If we come up and touch it, we're out. If we drop, we're holding. All right, and I'm out of the trade for $1,600. So basically got 2 risk factors out of that to add on to our last trade. Okay, so this was a win. Okay, so let's take a look at how this session unfolded. So first trade was on Solana. We had a bullish daily sentiment. Okay, price broke out of this channel after 9:30 into this bullish fair value gap. So I took an entry on that fair value gap. Price came right through it, and we logged a $676 loss to start off the session, which sometimes is just going to happen. Okay, then off of this big market sell-off, we had a nice Elliott wave structure coming down into this fair value gap. So I played an entry off of that level. We eventually broke out of that wedge, but then came back down. Okay, and I ended up taking this trade off for $131 win, which is basically like a break-even trade. Okay, once we sensed some weakness, if this level was going to break, I tapped in on a short on this fair value gap, hoping the price would sell off. Then we started to get a big sell-off in the market. Even though this did continue to eventually make a bigger move to the downside, I actually took my trade off accidentally here, but locked in 5.5 risk factors for a total profit of $2,596 on this trade. So this was really one of the bigger trades on the day. Okay, then targeting in on this fair value gap zone a little bit below it, I took a long into this sort of rejection area, in which case price came into our change of character, had a nice push to the upside, and then ended up coming down for a break-even trade. A little bit later into the session, we had a nice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trend formation with a trend break and a retest into this fair value gap. Got in a little bit high with a stop loss over this level. We failed to come down and retest that low and continue moving down for the session. So this ended up trending up against us and stopped me out for a full loss of $613. Okay, and then basically after hunting all sorts of different trades in here to get one more for this sort of session group, I was able to catch a trend break here, take a position into this fair value gap, allow the price to test the underside of this trend break and move down, which gave us a 2 risk factor trade. Okay, I would have liked to try to hold this longer, but we sort of failed to break down underneath that low, which gave us a $1,514 win, which puts us at a total of the day of 6 trades, 50% win rate, and a total gain of $2,963. This definitely wasn't my favorite session. We basically lost half of our trades, but once again, this is the reality of trading. Some days I'm going to get in and out, make, $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 in a session, or I'm going to spend most of the day or only end up with a small profit or maybe even losing money over time. This is what most people don't show you on YouTube. I just wanted to show you the transparent reality, but this is a repeatable, systematic approach to being able to make $3,000 in a day trading. If you like these videos, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, check out the other videos right here. Okay, and don't forget to check out our team if you want to dive in fully and start learning these strategies. Okay, but until next time, I'll see you all in the next video.